Welcome back, folks. Now, very often on these shows, I've suggested that you look at the system that controls humanity from a different perspective and essentially view it from an energetic perspective. Because the system that enslaves us, the whole concept that we need to destroy the earth in order to support the economy, and we need to worry about the economy over the people, is just an idea. It's just a meme. And when you can begin to see this, you begin to understand that the system is almost like an energetic life form in itself. It's got its own energy, its own life, its own meaning, its own purpose. But ultimately, it's just an idea. It's an idea that is taught to us when we go to school. It's taught to us by our parents as soon as we're born. But we are given this perspective all through our life. And we are taught to believe that the system itself is real and that the system is what is important. And we should all work to support the system rather than to support each other. And this is one of the most difficult things for people to understand. And this is even the whole basis of trust law, folks. It's realizing that God created man. I mean, and this is whatever you perceive God to be, folks, whether you perceive it to be the Christian God or whether you perceive it to be simply a matter of energy, whether you perceive it to be evolution, whatever you perceive your Creator to be, it doesn't matter. But you understand that whatever created creation, and man was created with it. Even if it was done through evolution, it's irrelevant how it was done. What is relevant is that we're here, and that whatever higher consciousness there may be is the only thing that actually exists above man. That's the only thing that actually exists above us. So God created man. Man created society. Society created government. Government created statute law. And the meme, the concept that this is how reality needs to be. So if you really look at it in that perspective, what you find is that government and statute law are way down the food chain, because the only thing above man is God. The first thing below God is man. Now, government was created by society, which was created by man. So it's way down there, folks. And just realizing that if you were to simply live your life in a state of service to the creation, which includes you, and always did no harm to reality and no harm to the people around you, only ever worked to improve reality by your presence in it, then there would be no need for government, or at least government would be in its correct position. I mean, I look at government as the administrative arm of the people. They're simply people that we employ in order to ensure that the trains run on time and that the roads are functional, that there aren't potholes everywhere, that the transport system works, that we have a viable education system and all of this sort of stuff. We need, obviously, people to administrate these affairs. And in all honesty, folks, they seem to be very, very negligent in actually providing all of the things that we actually need to function as a society, and they seem to be more intent on creating more and more statutes designed to take more and more rights away from the people and allow them to steal more and more from the people and from the planet. And as I've been saying for the entire broadcast, it's completely out of balance. And we've reached a point now where absolutely everything is completely upside down. And that's what needs to be understood by people, and that's what needs to be changed. This is precisely why real change can only ever come from the people. It can only ever come from the people adjusting their perspective of what reality is and acting peacefully to bring about positive change. Acting peacefully by following the one simple law of creation, which is unconditional love and service to the creation. Always acting to do no harm. There's been many great teachers that have brought this exact same message all throughout history. Buddha, Gandhi, Jesus Christ. There have been many great teachers who have all said the same thing, and they haven't suggested that you turn the other cheek, folks. That's a big misconception. A lot of people would believe that all of the great teachers were pacifists. But it isn't a matter of being passive, folks. It's a matter of being compassionate. It's a matter of understanding what reality is and acting accordingly. And this is why I've often said that we don't need any violence to bring about positive change on the earth. In fact, violence will only cause the human race to continue along the same path we've been walking down for a very long time now. What is needed is firmness, but understanding. What is needed is a comprehension of what reality is, and how the system that enslaves us is simply an idea. And you can't blame the people that are working within the system because they believe the idea is real. They believe the meme is real. They believe it is all true, that this is the way the world has to be run, because they have been taught to believe that it is true. And even suggesting otherwise to these people, it's an affront to their whole understanding of reality. So you need to be gentle and firm, but you need to assert your position of what and who you are. And this is why I've been bringing all this trust law stuff to people lately, not so that you can go and take on the system or run and beat them in their own court. It's simply to help you understand who and what you are and the power that you have as a human being, answerable only to God. And think about it, folks. If we employ these politicians and they enact legislation which causes us to act in a way that is not of benefit to humankind, then why would we even consider obeying these rules? Because these rules are made by our servants, and we employ these people to act on our behalf and to help create a viable future for us. So I say, when legislation is enacted and it's enforced upon the people, you need to ask why. If a police officer is telling you can't do a certain thing that is doing nobody any harm and may in fact be helping people, like I've seen people being arrested for setting up soup kitchens in the park and feeding the homeless. How that is a crime is beyond me. But you need to be asking, by what authority do you tell me that I cannot help other people? And why would you even presume to believe that such a statute, if one exists, that prevents me from helping people, why would you even presume to believe that such a thing is a valid law? Why have you, as a police officer, so obviously left your path? And if you take me to court over it, well, I'm going to be asking the same thing of the judge. I'm only even going to be going to the court specifically to ask that question. Because with this type of activity, what the government is actually doing is forcing you to behave in a sociopathic manner. It's forcing you to behave in any other way than anything that could be construed as compassionately. And this is not what we created the system for. It is not what we employ our public trustees to do. And it is certainly not the type of reality and not the type of future that we should be supporting or promoting. Everything that I've ever brought to you on these broadcasts has been centered around bringing you this very same message, folks. I've been doing so for 3 years now, and I continue to do so because I believe that one day I will record a show that will be the one, and it will get the message across in exactly the right way. And I do so in the hope that someone new may listen to the show and it will cause them to step back and look at reality from a different perspective, and the veil will fall away and the path to human freedom will become as apparent and simple to them as what it is to me. I've chosen to remain anonymous in the broadcasts that I do simply because that way you don't have a figure to attach the information to. There is no one to follow. It's simply a voice on the airwaves offering you a different perspective of reality, and one that I believe may help to free humanity from its present plight. I love the human race, folks, and I love this earth that we live upon. I really don't know anyone that I have a problem with. I know people that have problems with me, but I still don't have problems with them. I can look at people and I can make observations on their actions, but I still don't judge them as being bad. I still don't honestly know anybody that I have stuff with and that I would not willingly accept into my house and into my life, regardless of what they've done in the past. That's just who I am. You see, I believe that most people do tend to go wrong at some time in their life, folks, and they do this because of the system that they're subject to. They do it because of the perception they have of reality, the perspective that they've gained through their life at the hands of the system itself. And the system is not designed to help people think clearly. It's designed to support itself. That's its only purpose. And that's why it is so important to simply move forward from this point, regardless of what has occurred in the past. Show compassion for those around you and understand that they've been led to do whatever it is that they've done. They've been led to believe whatever it is they believe. It's not important. What's important is what we do from this point forward. So just turn the page. Start with a blank slate. See everybody as valid and move forward to create the paradise on earth that we should be living in. Because it isn't until we turn the page to create this future that we will deserve that future. At the moment, we deserve what we've got because we have failed to turn the page. We've failed to let go of the past. We've always sought revenge. We've sought the mentality of an eye for an eye, and retribution and fire and brimstone and the wrath of God, when all we truly need is empathy and compassion. We need to embrace each other with open arms and welcome each other home. And that's why I have repeated the message that I've brought you so often, and that is why I continue to do these broadcasts. Because I believe we can do this, folks. I really believe that all of the problems that we're facing are all simply providing us the opportunity that we need to embrace a new and better perspective of reality. We've got to the stage now, folks, where the whole workings of the mechanism, the whole workings of the machine, the meme that enslaves us are being laid absolutely bare for all to see. I believe this is being done by design. This is what Alice Bailey referred to as the externalization of the hierarchy. I actually did a show about it earlier in the year. And this is all part of the procedure, because people need to see how corrupt the system is, so they stand up against the system. But what the plan is for people to look for effective change from within the system itself. We will simply get people pointing the finger at others and replacing them with other people, and then hoping that they've got a better future, rather than doing the inner work themselves and realizing exactly what's going on here and putting our servants back in their rightful place in the food chain.